Get ready, catfishermen and catfisher women. It's time for Catfish Weekly, the show that keeps you informed of upcoming tournaments, tournament results, benefits, and fundraisers, the latest and greatest gear, as well as proven methods for making big cats. Catfish Weekly, with guests every week from the sport, talking about fishing and boating, gear, conservation, subjects that are important to the sport fishermen. We even visit with industry professionals. They lend a hand to make this one of the most popular catfishing programs in the country. Catfish Weekly is brought to you by Whiskerware Apparel, RigRap, Crusher Marine Survivor Water Pickup System, Monster Rod Owners, Black Horse Rods, Catfish Now Magazine, Driftmaster, and Offshore Tackle. Now, here they are, folks, Lyle Stokes and Tim Doc Glen.
Welcome, everybody, to Catfish Weekly, presented by Whiskerware Apparel. Along with Doc Lang, I'm Lyle Stokes. And, Doc, it is cold today.
No, it is really cold today. Right now, I got 12 degrees here in Ohio with a wind chill of 1.
Wow. We're at 19 when I checked a while ago when Glenn and I was talking, and it got into the low 20s today, and just a blustery, windy, old nasty day. I had to take the dog out a few times for her, and I'm telling you right now, if it wasn't for that, I would probably still be in the house and not have went out all day.
Yeah, I worked today, and I was kind of running a little late tonight, getting set up, but just got 3 more days of work, and we are 10 days, 11 hours, 57 minutes, and 25 seconds from winter blues on Wheeler.
That's pretty good. I know you watched the live feed that they done last night from winter.
Yeah,
that was pretty neat. They give away a bunch of stuff on there, and I had a lot of viewers. I know there was over 80 at one time, and Jody's just doing a heck of a job getting that all lined up, and I think everybody's anxious to get to Alabama.
Yep, I know I am.
Well, I'm not sure how warm it is down there, but I'm pretty sure it's warmer than 19 and 12.
Yeah.
Well, tonight, folks, we got Glen Flowers with us, and we're going to be talking about winter flathead fishing. Welcome to the show, Glen.
Hey, Lyle, how you doing?
We're doing good, man. You're down in Florida. It can't be as cold down there as it is here.
Yeah, I'm actually getting a little bit of feedback here, a little bit of you guys getting some feedback over there?
I'm not now. Yeah, I was before. I'm not now.
All right, let's see if it's cleared up here.
That do it better?
No, I'm still echoing.
I don't have feedback. It's good on my end.
Try toning your headphones down. Turn the volume down on your headphones.
I'll see if that works a little bit. Here we go. Let's see if that works.
Is that better?
Let's see if this works here. All right. Testing. All right, I think I'm good now.
Okay.
All right, good deal.
Yeah, I think what was happening, that the microphone up here was just tilted down too low.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, what were we saying?
I don't know.
Let's get this party started.
That's
Let's talk about flatheads, Glenn.
Yeah.
Southern flatheads. Southern flatheads compared to northern flatheads. What are we looking at? Same fish.
Hold on, I'm still getting double feedback over here.
Really?
Yeah, all I hear is echoing. Oh no, yeah.
Yeah, we're not getting it on the stream.
No, I'm not getting any.
You guys are saying that the stream sounds good.
Let me just try this real quick because.
How about that?
I don't have any. I still don't have any, Glenn.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah, it's fine to learn.
Now I don't have any. I still don't have any, Glenn.
So I think I'm good now. I think it was just those headphones.
I'm getting feedback now.
Yeah, it's fine to learn.
Now I don't have any. I still don't have any.
So I think I'm good now. I think it was just those headphones.
I'm getting feedback now.
Oh, is it coming? Hey, do you have YouTube up, Glenn?
You know what? That's it right there. Doc just solved the problem.
Heck yeah.
It was YouTube. I had YouTube in the background.
Yeah. Yeah, we've done that before.
Golly. So what we want to do here?
Everybody has feedback.
All right, how are we looking now?
Yeah, we're good now.
That's lots better.
That's one of the things you get when you get live video, huh?
That's exactly right.
Yeah, you just gotta learn to work your way through it.
You know, we've been on here. You and I've been on here for 30
We've been
minutes.
on here for 30 minutes.
And not a drop of trouble at all. And then you start the show and here it comes, but that's just part of it.
That's what it was. It was YouTube playing in the background underneath behind the link there. So, all right, let's get back
We're
to
better
it.
now.
We're better now.
Heck yeah.
All right. Now, Flathead, what were we talking about?
Yeah, let's talk about flatheads. Your water temperature down there is running about what degree right now?
I would say it's probably running in the low to mid 50s right now.
Yeah, and up here in Ohio, it's at about 38 to 40.
Mm. So y'all's catfish right now are probably starting to do their collection up.
Kind of dormant. Some of on the river, with a little bit of current, they're still a little active. The big ones aren't, but you know, less than 20 pounds. Some of the guys have caught some of them.
Now, I see a lot of guys up there catching them on jigs. Is that something that's common, or is it, you know, you just happen to be jigging in the right place and dropping on the nose? And
well, a lot of times guys are fishing for sauger, and you know, the flatheads will be right in those same areas. And you know, I don't know if they, you know, accidentally hook them, or you know, they may move on a jig. I don't know. I've never done that. I try not to do any jigging, just for the fact that I don't want to mess with those guys during the winter time.
right. See, down here in Florida, I don't really know a lot of people if they do catch them jigging. I've seen a few dams where they've caught them throwing jigs around the dams. But as far as like out in the wild river out in the middle of nowhere, you know, we don't really see much of that down here. Right now, we're getting them in, you know, stacked up in deep holes. We'll get one of these cold fronts that's about to come through that probably just hit Doc. We were talking earlier. It's what, 2 degrees where you're at?
Yeah.
Maybe 2. But it shuts them all down, and then we'll have a day or 2 of warm weather, and it seems like it gets them moving up off the bottom a little bit.
Yeah. Either that or get a bunch of current. If we get a bunch of rain, and it's you know, right now if we get any rain, it's going to be the form of snow or ice. And that even is even worse, because that really pulls the water temperatures down.
Yeah, I'm sure if getting ice coming down, it's going to pretty much lay them on the bottom and cover them with silt. I've seen some videos on YouTube, you know, where they've been sitting down there on the bottom so long they pretty much got like a little layer of silt across their backs.
Silt on them, yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's
we see that a lot in the springtime.
In springtime, y'all still get a lot of cold fronts that come down, huh?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So y'all's temperature.
Yeah. And generally in the spring, when water temperature gets right about 40 degrees, they start coming on up in this area.
And it's different with Florida flatheads. I kind of like to think of them as like Floridians, because they'll feed up. We can catch them all the way into the water temperatures down into the low to upper the low 50s to upper 40s. But then at some point they start shutting down. Then we don't start catching them in abundant again until after March, until the water is almost back into the 70s. Like you guys will start catching them again in the 50s. You'll see them down here fade out in February to almost nothing. And, you know, when y'all's water temperature seems like they get into the 50s, they're catching hogs up on Wheeler, 60 and 70 pounders.
A lot of difference in the water and temperature, and you know, I don't know if they're all flatheads, but they're all used to different things.
Mm-hmm. I read a lot of comments and stuff on the internet about the way deer move differently compared to the north and south. And sometimes I wonder if flatheads, and not just flatheads, but blue cat, sturgeon, and other fish kind of do the same thing based on region. We know bass do. You know, Florida bass act a lot different than northern largemouth. You know, that's why a lot of states out in Texas and stuff, they stock Florida strand largemouth bass. But up north, they don't seem to be as active as long as the northern strand largemouth bass. Or definitely as aggressive as the northern largemouth.
Yeah, I think you're onto something with that.
I know it seems like our Florida bass, they're not as aggressive as northern bass, but they just tend to grow a little heftier. But you get one cold front comes through and our bass shut down. They don't want to eat no more. And it's the same thing with our catfish. Like we've got this front coming down. It'll be here tomorrow, and we'll get some rain that'll come through, and then it'll clear out. We'll go back to bluebird skies. Tonight's the night to catch them. If you were on the river down here in Florida tonight, you catch a lot of flatheads. But
now, when you have bluebird skies, does that have a tendency of pushing them? I mean, do they just kind of shut down during bluebird skies?
I'd say for the first 2 or 3 days after front, they do.
Goes through, yeah.
You know, that front's going to come through and push the pressure down. Fish will usually start feeding up. It seems like as it goes through and the clouds are gone, everything evaporates. It's got the temperatures. I mean, the pressure rises up, and whatever happens to the catfish, they just seem to sink.
Yeah.
But I mean, we've been catching them pretty good down here in Florida.
Now, are you catching them during the day or at night?
Nighttime.
Nighttime?
I can't figure them out in the daytime. We've
Really?
tried. We've tried. Yeah. Matter of fact, we've got a lot of Florida guys that try to do it in the daytime, and it's hard. We've got a few tournaments down here that'll go for like 23 hours. They'll start at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, go all the way through the night, and go till about noon to 2 o'clock the next day. And come sunrise, there's very few people that catch a flathead after the sun comes up. Whereas that's different where you guys are from.
Yeah, I catch most of my flatheads during the daytime.
Yeah, and we see that a lot. That's one of the things that we're always talking about down here is, you know, the difference in the way these catfish feed. We see the difference in the way these flatheads feed from just one river to the next down here. You know, we've got a river right over here, 10 minutes from my house. We call them blackies. They're solid black flatheads from this river, and they seem to be the smartest in the state, and they tend to grow to be the biggest. Then you go 3 hours east, and the flatheads over there are solid yellow, and they're as mean as they can be. I mean, they pretty much jump in the boat with you. Whereas these over here, the blackies, if you catch 1 or 2 a night, you had a good night. But usually it's going to be a good fish. But we was thinking about the differences in the north and the south flatheads. You know, I think there's a pretty big difference there. I mean, maybe there is a subspecies. You know, like there's. I mean, we didn't. Was it till probably the mid '80s that we discovered that there was 2 subspecies of largemouth: the northern largemouth and the Florida black bass. But I don't know. I see they're catching a few flatheads out west too.
Oh, down in Arizona, they're laying them out down there.
Yeah, them Arizona boys, they're always catching them.
They got good ones.
Yeah.
They got good fish in Arizona.
Yeah, they've got real good ones.
You know, they've been catching some out in California too.
Yeah. No, there's. As a matter of fact, it seems like the ones that come out of California are golden flatheads.
The ones I've seen are, and I do think the black-ish ones are the pretty ones. I think they're all pretty, but you know, we don't have in my immediate area, I don't see any of the real black flatheads. What I see is the yellow ones, and the ones that I look like an Appaloosa is kind of all colored up.
Mm-hmm.
And the dark brown ones, but I don't believe I've ever caught a black flathead out of the lake up here.
No, I haven't seen a black one. We have what we call the brindle color, which is a combination of black and brown. Real pretty color.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. Yeah. Or the molted ones that look like a rock. They've got all the little black and gray spots all over them.
Mm-hmm. Them are beautiful.
I think the one that Lyle caught on Mississippi River, that was a brindle, wasn't it?
Yes.
And we caught that in 3-mile-an-hour current, Glenn.
Was that the last Mississippi tournament?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, yeah, we tried for flatheads. I can't seem to figure that Mississippi out. That thing whoops me every time I go over there.
A lot of people say that.
Yeah, it's, you know, it's a lot of current. It's completely different from anything we fish.
Now, are you running live bait or are you running cut bait?
Cut bait.
Cut bait?
Cut bait. Never taken live bait over there.
Really?
No, it'd probably be interesting just to see what would happen.
Now, are you fishing a river system?
On the Mississippi?
Oh, okay. So you're fishing Mississippi. Okay.
Well, we fished the Mississippi the last time we was at the Mississippi River.
Oh, okay.
That's the only time we ever go over there.
Okay.
Yeah, we didn't bring any live bait. We just brought some skipjack and some whatever we caught around the boat ground. But we ran a long ways up the Mississippi. We found a couple of tributaries that looked like there would have been some good flatheads in them.
We had a question a while ago, Glenn. Where in Florida are you?
Northwest Florida, Pensacola.
Pensacola.
Now, how do you go about seeing where people are commenting?
There's a live.
We got a live chat on YouTube.
Oh, I got you. Live chat on YouTube. So we'll get to that. Well, what's that?
Did you find the chat?
No, I wasn't going to go back to that chat.
Oh, if you go back to YouTube and shut your volume off on the screen where the computer's at, and pull the video up, you can see the chat on the right-hand side of your screen.
You would think with all this technology I got here, I would understand all this.
It's got a lot of stuff, man. Is skipjacks natural to you, Glenn, in Florida?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Let's see here. There we go. All right. There we go.
I agree with you. I don't think flatheads will win Mississippi River monsters. I think you'll have to catch the blues. They're just they're so big. Now, I will say they could make the difference in a top 5 finish if you get a couple of good ones. There's some dandies in there, but
there are. And the thing about the flatheads too is, you know, they're crowd pleasers. You remember last year when that guy pulled the 50-pounder out of the live well? Was it last year or the year before?
The year before, wasn't it?
I think it was the year before. It was 52 or 54 pounds.
It was a giant. Wasn't that Teresa Owensby's dad?
Owensby, yeah.
No, they caught us. That was a blue cat they caught. What, 70-something pounds?
It was a big fish. I thought it was a flathead. It was a giant.
I think it was a blue cat, and I think they won big fish with it. I think it was like 76, maybe. Somewhere close there.
There was a young man. There was a young man this past year. I know he was stationed there in Kentucky because I talked to him about serving and stuff like that. And he brought it was early in the morning. He brought a 47-pounder to the scales.
47. That's a good fish.
He had a top. I think he had a top 5 finish with that fish.
That's a good fish anywhere you go.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Everybody loves 47-pound flatheads.
Yeah. Boomer
Yeah.
caught a black one out of Lake Ozark last January. I'm glad to know that. I hope I can catch one of those out of the lake.
Blackies, that's what we call them. Old
Yep.
blackies. We've got one river here in Florida. And maybe it's got something to do with the minerals in the water, but they're solid black.
I'd like to get one of them.
Yep. What was interesting about the flatheads we found the other night, we caught every one of those fish spotlight.
Terry Stone says he caught a 41-pound flathead at Mississippi River Monsters this year. That's a great fish.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good fish anywhere you go.
Yeah, that's the thing. There was so many boats coming in. It was hard to see all the fish that was being weighed. So we missed a lot of them. I think you was running the booth, wasn't you, Lyle?
No, I was with you. I in and out of your booth and 3 or 4 others with Glen. I was down at Crusher Marine booth and went to see the mud bums. I just kind of mingled around this time.
All right. It was kind of hard to catch all the fish. There was so many boats going by and so much stuff going on. It's kind of.
We visited with Sandy for a long time over in your booth. Had a blast with her.
Well, good. It was fun. We just happened to have Chris Floyd's right beside us.
Yep.
Bill Dance just won down from him.
Yeah, it's a blast. That's a great tournament. We have a good time down there.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Now we got some questions here. Does Glen target flatheads in his area with both live and cut bait or just live bait? And what type of live bait?
Well, the other night when we went, we had cut baits, we had live baits. The fish was biting so good, I don't think that it really mattered if you threw a live one down there or a dead one, because we throw a dead one down there, we'd catch one. Throw a live one down there, you'd catch one. But the interesting way that we was catching them, we was catching them vertically underneath the boat. We found them in a deep hole where they were stacked up where they were supposed to be. We've seen them there before a few weeks ago, but they wasn't moving. You know, you can see them moving when they start coming up in the water and making those arches and V's. So this time they were coming up in the water and we pulled up on them. I told my buddy, I said, just throw a live bait. I'll hold us up on the spot and let's see if they bite. Just drop a bait on them. If not, we'll go up here to the next hole. Well, he dropped the bait down there and reeled up 2 turns off the bottom, and he wasn't down there 45 seconds. And that, I mean, his rod tip pretty much went underneath the water, went underneath the boat. And we cranked him up, and we hit the spot lock and held up on it and just started reeling fish after fish after fish.
Heck of
And it didn't matter if the baits were dead, if it didn't matter. As a matter of fact, what my buddy caught a flathead on a tail that we had cut, butterflied, and threw down there. He caught a fish, and then he just reached over and grabbed one of the little tail piece sections and hooked it on, dropped it down there, and caught a flathead. So, and what we were doing is we was actually taking the boat. The boat was sweeping the bottom because we're kind of caught in the backdraft here. There's like a current going, so it's kind of didn't matter what your iPod did, it could not hold you at one spot. But it was working to our advantage because we had our baits about maybe 2 turns off the bottom, so we was sweeping the bottom. So we dropped those baits down in the rod holder and reel them like 2 turns up to sweep the bottom. And it didn't take long before you bumped into a fish. What other questions do we got over there about flatheads?
Are you, let's see here. I saw one earlier from a buddy of mine. David Funk wants to know, does he ever fish for flatheads in reservoirs?
Flatheads in reservoirs.
Do you fish for reservoirs or river?
Probably, I'd say 99% all rivers. We've got a reservoir down here, Lake Seminole, and it's got a lot of big flatheads in it. But you know, most of the time when I'm over there, I'm blue catfishing. Whereas, you know, you can look at some of the reports and stuff, and some of the biggest flatheads do come from reservoirs. I mean, there are world records coming from reservoir. But as a general rule, I think I'm just more comfortable in the rivers. You know, I feel more comfortable in a 6-knot current in the Mississippi River than I do in a lake with no current.
Me too.
For flatheads.
Current is like flatheads. It's the king.
Yeah. Yeah, flatheads always relate to some kind of current, even in the reservoir. If usually if they're not moving water, you're usually not catching flatheads, from what I hear.
Yeah.
A lot of times,
that's right.
Yeah, and we notice the same thing in the river. If you get any kind of water on the river, and the flow picks up, the flathead bite picks up. Down here in some of these lower ends, especially around the deltas and stuff, we get a lot of tides down here, and the tides will start to come in and actually push the river upriver. So you'll have leaves coming upriver because the tide will start pushing up, and when that happens, you might as well just pack up and go home.
I have never fished tidal water. I think that I'm missing something. Doc, have you ever fished tidal water?
No, sir.
No, I think that's got to be a whole new ball game of anything that we're ever used to.
It's tough, especially during big moon phases. Like if you've got a full moon or a super moon, it can increase that tide something like 20 to 30%. So you can try getting anchored on a spot. You'll throw your anchor out and start floating upriver. It just doesn't make any sense.
Now, is all your water there tidal water?
No, the tidal systems usually flow between 11 and 15 miles upriver. Okay. Once you get beyond a certain area, then you pretty much get out of the tidal area.
Okay.
But if you go down and fish some of these tidal areas, and you'll see the same thing in Louisiana, you pretty much got to get there on a high tide when the tide's at its peak and ride it down. Because you want to ride that water down as it starts picking up flow, pushing out.
Peter Bellhorn wants to know if you think that the world record flathead will ever fall.
It's hard to say. We had the world record blue cat that held at 98 pounds for like 90-something years. He held a long time.
Yeah, records are made to be broken.
That's right.
But once they took that record down, then we had triple-digit blue cats breaking records several times a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The record flathead, he's a horse of a different color.
That's true. That's true. Yes.
I'm starting to slack here, man. It's 25 after. We need to spin that wheel.
Spin it.
Glen, give me a number from 1 to 5.
5.
Number 5 it is.
2, 3, and just to let everybody know, tonight, 4, we have 293 people in our RigRap prize wheel pot.
293.
293, and we are spinning the RigRap wheel for Chad Cooley. Let's just see what he gets. Oh, we got to straighten that up. I adjusted that, Doc. It must be pretty close. I give him a big spin. I miss Cindy not being here. Hooker's Terminal Tackle. Chad Cooley, you win some reaper hooks from Hooker's Terminal Tackle. If you will send them a message on Facebook and tell them you want some reaper hooks on Catfish Weekly, James will send them right out to you. And thanks for playing the RigRap prize wheel game and watching Catfish Weekly. James Arwood is one of our great people on this. He does so much for us, and he sends a lot of hooks out.
Yeah, because that wheel lands on him a lot.
He has 2 spots, and he's got double duty there.
I don't think anybody's complaining though.
No, and the other night when we had our big show, he come in at the end of the show and give away some stuff, even though it wasn't on the prize wheel. He just he's that kind of guy. He's just a super nice guy. I was so happy to meet him down at Owensboro. We was at Monsters on the Ohio. Him and his son come up and visited with me for, quite a while down there at the weigh-in, and we really enjoyed him, and he does so much for the sport. And it's just not with us and you and me and the show. He does a lot for a lot of tournaments and a lot of other people. He's sort of like Glen with RigRaps and Crusher Marine, Robert Crusher. There's so many of them guys that do so much for a wide variety. Glenn, I need to ask you something. Have you ever used any of the RigRap products?
No, never used RigRap.
Man, I need to send you some of them babies. I think you'd really like them, and I think you'd get enjoyment out of putting them babies to work in your boat.
They'd probably beat styrofoam.
Oh, if that's what you're using, I'll hook you up, buddy, because once you use these, you can't go back. You just can't do it.
Yeah, usually before we do a fishing trip, we'll tie up 10 or 15 leaders and swivels and stuff, and we'll just stick them in some styrofoam. So if we pop off, our main line's always stronger than our leader, so we'll always pop our hooks off and just pull them off the styrofoam.
Right. I'll make sure that you get some, and we'll get you hooked up and let you try some, see if you like them. They're a great product. Yeah,
definitely be interested to do that. And here soon at the end of the show tonight, remind some of the guys that we're going to be giving away one of these St. Croix Mojo cat rods here towards the end of the show.
So you guys that are in here, don't be going nowhere because you're
going nowhere.
This.
We've got and your choice too, not just one. We've got 7'6" here. We've got some 2-piece spinning rods, 8-footers, heavies. So, it's your choice which one you want.
That's really good. And I know from building on St. Croix blanks, over the years, I've built a lot of them. A lot of guys don't want to pay the cost for a St. Croix blank, and now we have most of our blanks made for us. But St. Croix is one of the top blank manufacturers in the United States and one of the top rod companies in the world.
They have been around a long time too,
and they've never had an issue of having anybody talk bad about them. They've got a great service department up there. If you have any problems with anything, if you have questions, they can answer them. I mean, they've been doing it and doing it right for many, many years. So it's whoever wins that rod is going to have something to be very proud of.
Yeah, and if you live up there in the north, go visit them. Their factory's always open for tours. You can go up in there and watch them build rods right in front of you.
Yep, I've been invited up there a couple different times, and wished I could have went. Sometimes things just don't work out, but yeah, one of these days that would be that would really be a cool deal for me to see how the blanks are manufactured. I've been to a couple places, and some of them guys are pretty hush hush on what they'll show you,
especially if they know you build rods.
That's it, but it did work to my advantage because I did get to see some, and I learned so much information that I knew what I could tell somebody when I wanted them to build one to make sure I get right. And I missed it a couple times, and I had some that didn't work out, but we're back on the right path now. Everything seems to be running along.
Mm-hmm. Hey, let me ask you this: have you ever tried floats on your rigs for flatheads? You see the Santee Cooper rigs and stuff. You see a lot of people talk about floats and rattles, but have you tried that much?
I haven't tried it with cut bait for flatheads. I'm usually using live baits, and I usually use a long leader and put the sinker down and let them just run around. And when they start dancing, I know business is fixing to pick up.
Last year on the Tennessee River, I was running a Demon Dragon, had a big chunk of skipjack on the back of it, and the rod went down. And when the rod went down, I told my partner, I said, "That is a flathead," and it ended up being a 45-pound flathead that hit that Demon Dragon. He just pulverized that thing.
And that's why I asked you. Scott sent me a few of the Demon Dragons to try. And
yeah, they're good.
Yeah, well, the other night when we were fishing on the river, we noticed a pretty big difference in the catch ratio from the ones we had 2 rods down with Demon Dragons with the floats on them. Got them rigged up here somewhere. And right here, just see on the camera there, just your weight up here with the sinker bumper and the Demon Dragon there. Well, the rods without them, and these are the same rods that I rigged up the other night right here. It seemed like the rods with the floats were getting 2 to 1.
2 to 1.
2 to 1.
That's a huge deal.
It's a huge meal, and it's a big difference. And I was just wondering if you guys have noticed. I've noticed the difference with just peg floats on the rods. Usually if we have a peg float and we're fishing tight to the bottom, it seems like that peg float kind of keeps it up in the strike zone a little better. But I think it's something to do with the rattle in these guys. Because with that braid, when those bluegills start kicking down there, you can actually hear the rattle coming through the braid.
Yeah.
You can hear it in there just. And I've seen a lot of, especially up around on some of the lakes, you know, up there. It seems like a lot of guys are running more floats these days for flatheads.
That's really good information. I see that Chris Flores is in the house, and he says that them demon dragons really work. Now Chris has been catching some fish out in Arizona. He knows that they're working, and I watched one of his videos the other day where he'd been out and caught some pretty nice blues out on the lake, and I know he was using demon dragons pulling behind his boat. So, you know, Dieter Bellhorn is doing a bunch of testing right now. I watched a video of Dieter's this morning. I know he's watching the show. He's in chat tonight, and he's doing a big test, and it's going to go on for some time on rattles and different rattles and all kinds of stuff. And he's going to do it now and throughout the seasons of the year. The information that he can gather with that and share with everybody is going to be really good. If it works everywhere and not just in his area, and I don't know why it wouldn't work everywhere.
Right. E-Star 75 wants to know, has anything changed on the cleaning out of the log jams on the river that you fish, Glenn?
The log jam is gone. The Badlands has been completely eradicated. They took Keith Wilkinson's took out a $2 million contract to actually remove the logs and associated debris from the area, and you know that 1,000-foot log jam that was there since 1991 is now gone. So that one stretch of river that was protected from going up or down river is no longer in the river. So it's gone. You still have my volume good here?
Yep. Scott Manning says they tested those demon dragons for 14 months. And I've been watching his videos for longer than that. And he caught a lot of fish that had them rattles hanging off out of the mouths of them.
And I see all that stuff, and that's what got me interested in them too. I keep looking at the corner of that flathead's mouth. I'm like, what is that?
He caught blues and flatheads.
Blues, stripers.
Yeah. Giant fish. I mean, just giant fish. I got to get down there, man. Fish with Scott one of these days. He keeps asking me down there. Always something comes up.
Well, they run a really good guide service up there. A lot of fish.
That's real good.
Catch a lot of fish. Me and Scott's gonna get together at some point and catch some sharks down here. Every time we set up a shark trip, we get a hurricane that comes. We get floods, and I mean, we can't win or lose.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, we had a shark trip set up. I think this year, and we ended up having a hurricane or something that came that weekend.
Wow.
But no, they catch some good fish up there. As a matter of fact, I've seen several this year. It seems like at least 10 over 40 they had that thing hanging out of their mouth.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, him and Bryson really put some great fish in the boat.
They do. They've got some good fish up there. All those. I'm actually quite jealous of the Tennessee chain.
Yep.
Wheeler. I mean, who's it? Jason Briggs. Look at some of the flatheads they catch out of Wheeler over there.
Yeah.
Jason and Mike Mitchell both catch a lot of great fish down there.
Yep. If you watch that episode of G3 Sportsman where Scott Turnage was fishing up there, I want to say it was Lake Gunnersville for flatheads. They caught a pile of them. I mean, they caught 30s and 40s and 50s on that episode.
Was they targeting him, do you think?
They were targeting him.
Okay.
Yep, with skipjack. I believe they're using all cut skipjack, and they catch a lot. It seems like most all of their flatheads up there come off skipjack.
Yep. There's a lot of skipjack in that water, that whole river system. So,
now, are you mainly using skipjacks, Glenn?
No. We might catch a dozen flatheads a year with skipjack. Pretty much everything we're catching on is like bluegills, bullheads, some sort of sunfish.
Do you have shad in that area?
Yep, depending on the river you go to. You know, if you go to If you go to some of the bigger lakes over there, there's a lot of shad. But if you come to some of the more western rivers that I fish over here, there's not really much shad. So it's like the Lake Wheeler and stuff. You can imagine how much. You can only imagine how many shad die a day over there and sink to the bottom. I mean, those flatheads over there are so accustomed to eating shad and skipjack. I'm pretty sure they probably have pretty big shad kills in the winter too. They probably blanket the floor.
Yeah, we have them up here where you can just see silver bottom in the shallow coves and stuff.
Did you guys happen to see that video running around on Facebook the other day with the flatheads conjugated in shallow water?
I didn't see that one. I don't know.
There must have been hundreds, if not thousands, in probably what looked like 4 or 5 feet of water. That flathead. I mean,
wow.
Well, somebody sent the video to me, and I posted on Flathead Catfish Hunters, and within 24 hours, it got 250,000 views.
Wow.
That's a lot of people fascinated with flatheads grouping up.
Well, flatheads are the king of catfish. Now that's they might not win tournaments all over the place, but they're the king. You know, you can't take that away from them.
They may not get as big, but they're definitely the kings.
That's right.
Matter of fact, we don't know if they don't get as big because nobody can seem to catch one over 100 pounds.
That's right.
We know they're there.
Doc's gonna get one at 100 pounds one of these days. I just know he is. He loves them things.
When you think about it, when is the last time America saw a triple-digit flathead?
A few years ago, there was a guy caught one that was just over 100 pounds on a Missouri River, but it was on a trot line, and I can't count that.
Actually, that fish was 99 pounds.
Is that what it was?
It was 99 pounds in Missouri on a bank pole.
Okay. Yeah,
I remember that fish, but the closest one that I remember here recently was on the Ultima River in Georgia, and it was like 98 pounds. And when you see
it, said yes, in Illinois they caught one.
Illinois.
Not sure.
Now I know a few anglers in Illinois that have caught them over triple digits. That probably don't have photographs or anything. Maybe they've got photographs, they just haven't released them. But as far as a well-documented fish, it's hard to hide a 100-pound flathead.
Yeah.
I mean, if you so much as whisper that you caught a 100-pound flathead and it gets out on the internet, that's it. Everyone knows. But as far as like blue cats, you think about the amount of blue cats today that we see over 100 pounds compared to just 15 years ago. You know, we just wasn't seeing this many triple-digit blue cats coming out. It's probably got a lot to do with more people fishing for them and releasing them.
Right.
The problem with flatheads is there aren't near as many flatheads going back as there is big blues. Especially down here in Florida, if somebody catches a 30, most people down here in the South, if they catch 30 or 40 pounds flatheads, they're going to the river. I mean, they're going to the house.
You know, it's legal, and I personally can't take the breeding size fish away from the water where they're caught. I can't do it. And I'm not saying it's wrong to do it. I'm not saying it's right to put them away. What I'm saying is I want them fish to keep reproducing, and I will not take one away. Now, are they good eating? Absolutely. The flathead catfish is one of the tastiest fish that I'm aware of, but I prefer them to be 5-6 pounds or smaller. I just take the big ones. I can't do it.
And there's plenty of meat on the small ones. If you catch 10 pounders, clean them bad boys up and see how much meat you get.
Yeah, and I don't try not to get on people too much about keeping fish that they catch because they're catching them. It's legal, and that's all good. But personally, I just, you know, the last big one that I caught was about 15 pounds, and it was bleeding. It was deep hooked and bleeding profusely, and I knew it was not going to make it. And I gave it to a lady on the side of the bank who was sitting there bank fishing, her and her husband, and I wasn't going to clean it. I don't like clean fish. That's why we go out to eat fish. But, you know, I knew that fish was not going to survive. And I hated to do that, but I would much rather her get the benefit out of it. It made them a couple bills, you know, where if you throw it back and it don't survive, then nobody gets any use out of it. And I'm not.
Right. Yeah, that's
Okay.
good.
Glenn, I got a question here in chat. What is your favorite rod and reel and line and hooks? In other words, what is your favorite setup?
It's always a casting reel, 7'6" rod. If you break it down into detail, here for the last few years, I've been running the Team Catfish 400 reels. I found them running a guide service. You know, one of the things that I struggle with is finding a rod and reel combo that's strong enough to handle big fish, lots of fish, but also that's light enough to deal with small children and elderly people that's going to be holding them all day long. So there's got to be an intermediate mix. You know, we're not always looking for 100-pound fish out here. I've got gigantic rods, 6-aughts over there with 150-pound mono on them that's capable of dealing with the biggest sharks and stuff out there. But on as a general rule, it's usually the lighter tackle, like a combo like this. You know, 7'6", like just a smaller casting reel. These Team Catfish Gold Ring 400, that's equivalent to an Abu 6500, probably. But they're accurate. You know, if I've got a log jam over here, 30 yards off to the right, you can put that bait right in front of it where it needs to be. It's not a big, bulky, gigantic reel that you can barely lug, you know, 15 yards behind the boat and hope it don't land someplace over your other lines or something. And the light rods, like we were talking about earlier, the lighter rod seems to be the way a lot of the markets are going to, especially the way blue cat bumping is getting to be. You know, when you're holding that rod all day long. And now the way we're starting to flathead fish a lot of times, we're fishing with one rod. We pull it, we back down on a spot. If we hadn't got a fish in 5 or 10 minutes, we're going to the next spot. We'll back down. We're holding our rods the whole night a lot of times. So yeah, just lighter rods. And we've got some heavier stuff here, some big 8-footers, but I've almost scaled all the way back down to 7-foot rods. And when we go lake fishing and reservoir fishing, we're going down to even lighter than that, to spinning rods. I've got the new Team Catfish reels right here, which I like them because they've got the clicker on them. You know, that clicker will just pull the line out. All you do is turn the handle and lock it in place, and you're locked in. But we were going over to Lake Seminole this summer, fishing a lot over there. This rod's pretty light. It's only a 7-foot spinner rod. But we were going to Lake Seminole chasing line class records with some clients that I've got. They fly all over the world, right? They just got back from the Amazon. From there, before that, they were in Alaska fishing for halibut. Before that, they were somewhere fishing for sturgeon. Then they were somewhere over in Italy doing something. This summer, they've been over here with me. We did 9 or 10 line class world records. We're chasing blue cats around with 2 and 4 pound tests. Some of these blue cats are over 40 pounds for like 2 hours. And that's all they wanted to do was 2 and 4 pound tests.
That's crazy. You know, that line class records, I've seen you talk about that several times, and you do quite a bit of that, and it's quite a deal to go out and catch a 40 or 50 pound blue on 4 or 5 pound test line.
It's tough. We chased one for 2 hours and 19 minutes. With the iPilot, she's on the bow and she's working them. She's caught a lot of fish. Matter of fact, she's on track to have more line class records than any woman in line class records history. She's about to surpass 60.
Wow.
60 from all different species, from marlins to groupers and catfish, and their latest fascination is catfish. That's all they want to do. They live in South Florida, and they just realized that they've got red-tailed catfish in their backyard. So now they don't have to go to the Amazon.
Them are some beautiful fish, them red tails. Probably the prettiest of all catfish, I think.
All righty, it's time to spin that wheel. Give me another number, Glenn.
Let's go number 3. Doc?
1, 2, 3. And the winner is Scott Powell, Powell. Let's see what we get for Scott this time. I was going to start putting that generator up there, but I keep forgetting to do it.
Oh, almost.
Hooker's terminal tackle again. Mad Catter this time. Man.
He's giving away some hooks.
That's
And
somebody got hit last week twice. I don't remember who it was. Do you, Doc?
I don't remember. We had so much stuff going on last week.
It was really busy. Scott, if you will contact Hooker's Terminal Tackle on Facebook, they will hook you up with some Mad Catter hooks. Enjoy them. Thanks for watching Catfish Weekly and playing the RigRap prize wheel game.
speaking of hooks, what kind of hooks are you guys using for flatheads? Are you using tails or circles?
I'm using circles.
I do too.
I'm using circles. I've been using circles on flatheads since 1999.
1999. So you're doing a lot of vertical fishing, or are you behind the boat too?
Behind the boat, anchored down.
Just any way you can, huh?
Fishing log jams. I'm a mono guy. I fish with 40-pound mono. The only time I use braid is if I'm bumping in Lyle's boat. The rest of the time, it's all monofilament.
I got you. I was wondering that because the other night when we were fishing vertically under the boat, we were noticing that we were getting more hookups on the double action hooks than we were the mighty wide hooks. And we think it was because, they're straight underneath the boat. Those hooks were actually designed for vertical fishing. So when we would get one on the Kale style hook, we would tend to grab the rod and try to set the hook. And sometimes you miss the fish, but with the double actions, you just crank down on the fish and he's on there.
Yeah.
I have a message, Glenn, that just come in on Facebook, and it's from Ryan Williams.
Mr. Williams, he came down and fished with us for a few days.
The message says, speaking out for the Arizona Catfish Conservation Association, I would love to comment on the live feed. Is this how? If so, tell Captain Glen Flowers we had a blast fishing out there in Florida and would recommend him to anybody. And if you all ever make it out to our parts, we would be more than happy to get you on one of our big boys. Thank you, Ryan, very much for sending me that message. That's a pretty good recommendation.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun. We fished the Apalachicola River. We fished the Chattahoochee River, Lake Seminole. We may have fished the Flint some that week. I'm not sure, but we fished quite a bit. So.
You was talking about hooks. A lot of times when I'm bumping, I'm using a 10-aught big game or big river Gamakatsu hook. And I know my buddy Luke Hinges, that's what he uses for flatheads in Minnesota.
Right.
And they don't use circle hooks. And I have done that. I used to do it all the time, and I do dearly love those hooks. They are a really good piece of equipment. But Luke uses them every night in the summer when they're out catching flatheads.
Well, they got a pretty big white gap on them.
Yes, they do. And they're sharp.
Well, to me, that's the biggest thing about flathead fishing, especially if fishing way out behind the boat. Because you got a big hand-sized bluegill on there. You need as much gap as you can between that bait's back and the point of your hook. Because, with the flathead's mouth, they've got that big, wide, almost like a cobia. I know y'all don't have cobia up there, but down here, the cobia and the flathead look very similar. And with cobia, a lot of times they're harder to get with a circle hook because of the way their mouth is shaped. Like a blue cat and a channel cat, they've got that perfect circular mouth. A circle hook it was made for a blue cat, channel cat.
Yeah.
But what we noticed with some of the flatheads that the bigger the gap, it seems like the better the hook set. Even with some of the circle hooks, circle hooks with the bigger, wider gaps seem to do better. Let's see, we're at 7:55. We're about to have to give away a St. Croix rod here in a second.
Yep. Hey, Lyle, Tim wants us to give a pair of whisker tips away.
Wants to give some whisker sticks away.
Yep.
Pick me out another number, Glenn.
Let's go number 2.
2 it is. 1, 2. And the winner is David Taylor. David Taylor. If you will contact Tim at Whisker Sticks LED Lights on Facebook, he will hook you up.
And what I'm going to do, too, we got a couple of these nice St. Croix hats over here. I think you have one, too, Lyle, huh? I'm going to probably give away one of these white hats with a rod, too.
Awesome.
We've got, for all you guys that's been watching this week and sharing our videos, I've got all of your decals. These Flathead Catfish decals made by Jonathan Taylor. Great artist. I'm sure you guys have been seeing some of his artwork. So, whenever we're ready, we'll go ahead and give away one of these rods back here.
Whenever you want to do it, we'll do it, man.
Let's just, I've got a random drawer over here. It's already got the link set up. And it's going to draw it right here. We're going to give away this Mojo Cat Rod.
That's very nice of you to put that up. And if you would pass along the thank you, not only to yourself, but to St. Croix for allowing it to happen, I would greatly appreciate it.
You know what? As much as I'd like to take credit for it, it's actually St. Croix's idea.
That's outstanding. Those guys.
Jesse Simpkins down there from St. Croix and stuff. You know, we had some leftover stuff from up there at the Mississippi River Monsters tournament. So we're trying to find good ways to pass that out. And it looks like Troy Sin is going to be the winner. Troy Sin, S-E-N-N.
Outstanding.
Troy Sin. So if you can just send me a message on Facebook or somewhere with your shipping information, and we'll get that out to you.
That is a great product. Something that Doc and I have talked about for our viewers. Our sponsors do so much, even including this new rod that Glen is sending out. When you guys receive this, it doesn't take very long to take a picture and post that stuff on our Facebook page. Goes a long ways to us getting other products and more products to pass along to you. And go to Glen Flowers Flathead Hunters Catfish Fan, like his page. All that stuff makes a big difference to us getting good sponsors and good quality guests like Glen on the show. While you're at it, if you don't mind, you can like Catfish Weekly and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'd appreciate it. It all helps us all be able to do more for each other and make the show better, and just helps out.
And build catfishing. That's the end goal.
That's right. It's good for the sport, and that's what we're all after. We're all trying to make the sport greater for everyone. And the more of that kind of stuff we can do, the easier it is to get new regulations put in, because numbers speak volumes, and that's what we're all about.
Once the man sees the numbers, they start backing it up with regulations.
That's exactly right.
Yep. See, we've got Troy's rod coming. I've got him a hat right here.
And that's outstanding.
Good deal.
Right.
Another question, Glenn. What kind of a boat are you fishing out of?
I'm fishing from the 2018 G3 Sportsman 200.
Okay.
And it is a lightning bolt, let me tell you. We took off during the Mississippi River Monsters tournament, and there was one boat that just stayed out of reach the entire way we ran upriver. We ran upriver. We ran a long ways. I'm not sure you guys know how bumpy it was that takeoff morning. If you fished it, it was bumpy. But it's a great boat. I'm proud to see G3 and a lot of these other companies stepping up and building some good catfish rigs.
Yeah, that needs to happen.
Yeah,
and there is. You're right. There's several several people. It's not just Sea Arc. Sea Arc they're all doing better. They're all trying to make us what they consider the perfect catfish boat. And everybody wants something different in a boat, but we've got some competition coming in, and G3 is a great boat, and there's a lot of other quality boats coming out, and they're all going to come in, and that's all going to make it better for the consumer. And again, that's what the end result needs to be.
And if you look at the analytics, I follow a lot of analytics on a lot of this stuff. Catfishing is rising quickly. Even Bill Dent said that catfishing could be the new bass fishing.
Yep.
At the rate it's growing.
Yep. It's the fastest growing
competitive fishery.
Yep. And I've told this before, Glenn. A lot of states have not made catfish a sport fish, and it needs to be done in every state. But not only is catfish a sport fish in the state of Missouri, it's the #1 sport fish for in the state of Missouri.
Yeah, we need the regulations big time.
Yep.
With good regulations, you'll probably start seeing more triple-digit flatheads. We aren't seeing them.
I think so too. And it's everybody's talking about we need regulations for blue cat. We need it for catfish.
Catfish in general.
Right.
I should not have to go 15 hours north to get a 20-pound channel cat, but I nearly do.
Because of why? The regulations.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Now, I can go to Calamus or some of those places and get some good channel cat, but the biggest catfish I've ever caught all come from northern states and where they have regulations, and I shouldn't have to go that far to catch a 20-pound channel cat.
Right. Look what happened to Alabama when they put the 1 fish over 34 limit.
It just exploded.
Oh, everywhere. Even the Alabama rivers, they're starting to catch monsters.
Yeah. It took a little bit, but it's going to take time. It didn't. All of them didn't disappear overnight, so you got to give it a chance for the regulations to work.
Yep. And those blue cats don't grow overnight either. It took them a little while to get back to 105, 110.
That's right. And they all won't make that size. That's why it's so important to put the good ones back.
That's true. Well, all right, guys. What are we looking at?
Message here. I wanted to.
Got any questions or anything we need to wrap up here?
Brad Durrett
I'm
says
looking at stuff.
Great regulations. Start by looking at Minnesota and North Dakota, and I would agree with that. They have great regulations, and they have giant fish.
Except for the 1 rod limit.
Right.
I don't like that.
I'm not wild about that either, but if it meant getting some bigger fish, you might have to give on. You're going to have to get. Somebody's going to have to
give something up.
Yeah, that one.
But give up my other 3 rods. That's tough.
Yeah, that's what we're allowed is 2 on a Mississippi unless one's marked, and then everywhere else in the state it's 3 rods per person, and 3 rods is enough if the fish are biting. Believe me.
Yeah. What's your rod limit? You got a rod limit, Doc?
What's that?
You got any rod limits where you're at?
In Ohio, 2 rods.
2 rods.
And it is strictly enforced, mainly, I think, because of Lake Erie.
Yeah. Brad says in North Dakota they get 2 rods on the Red River.
I love
I'm okay with that. I remember being up there fishing at Red River, and
Do you need any more than 2?
No,
no.
The red's not very big.
But the bite's so hot. How can you keep up with more than 2?
And they got good quality fish up there, and that's the reason.
Well, it was a good example was the other night when we were on the river. We were only running 2 rods because that's all we could keep up with. You put your rod in the holder, and you'd have a couple of minutes before they're going down. But we've had nights where you sit on one spot the entire night, and you've got every rod out that you're looking for something else to throw in the water to get more baits out there because it's so slow.
Yeah. That's what gets bad here in Ohio because we're limited to the 2 rods. So if the bite's slow, all you got is 2 rods. You can't put anything else out. You try to go to the bank and grab somebody else to go with you, and then you can get
4.
2 more rods out.
So it's 2 a person, huh?
Yeah, 2 per person.
Okay, 4 is a good spread. 4
Yeah.
is a good. Now, Jeremy Wade only fishes with 1. He said he just.
Jeremy does. Yeah.
Yeah. he said he believes in just 1 right place bait.
Well, he's got a point with that. I have to give him credit.
Yep. Well.
Well, and a lot of the guys that are bumping are only using. That's all they put out is just the 1 rod. That's they it just whatever your limitations are.
Right, and you're actively fishing too with that 1 rod.
Yeah.
Bumping and working the rod the whole time.
Yep, it's a very productive way to catch fish, and if they're biting, you got your hands full a lot of times if you got a dead stick out the side, because about the time you don't think that they're hitting on that, they'll hit the dead stick, and when you're fighting that and you got the bumping rod in your hand, they'll hit that, and then you got 2 of them going, and it's just a cluster. I've had that happen, and I have tried drifting with 2 dead sticks on a side and bumping, and every time I've tried that, I have hung them all up, and
Yeah.
there'll be no more of that. 2 on a side, 1 on each side, and 2 out the back bumping is okay, but 2 on a side dead sticking and bumping don't work for me, because I can't keep them from getting hung up.
How do you drag without getting hung up? I see a lot of guys talking about dragging, but as soon as I put a bait down and drag 3 feet, I'm hung.
Well, a lot of it is the weights that you're using. I use as light of a weight as I can, and I'm talking. I'll run the drifting sticks, and there'll be only 1 ounce, and I'm just keeping an eye on that rod tip, and if I see it kind of bowing down a little bit, I'll lighten it up to just to the point where it's not, sitting there direct, doing this number, but it'll like that, and then it'll come back up, and then it'll go back down. Because you want that bait, you don't want that bait right dead on the bottom. You want it up above.
Right.
That's where the floats come in real handy. The Demon Dragons. I like using the big co-mill floats on my rig, so it gets that bait up high, and then run those. I've been experimenting with a lot of the dragon weights. I got so many different type of dragon weights that I use for different situations. I fish a tournament here in Ohio with my grandkids, and I will have three grandkids, sometimes 4 grandkids, and we will run the 2 rods a piece. And I've got them spread all over the boat, and the kids have gotten to the point where they know when the rod is getting hung and when it's getting a bite. So, and I've gotten myself hung up on a lot of stuff, and you just learn. I've always learned that if I'm not getting hung up, I'm not in the area that bigger fish live.
I agree with that.
In Alabama RigRap, do a lot of fishing over there. We've tried some drifting. We've literally caught every rod on the boat on the trot line. They'll stretch those trot lines from clear across one side to the other. And it's matter of fact, on the Mississippi River, me and Sandy was fishing. And I got this bright idea. The current was so strong that it was dragging my anchor. So the next time I threw my trolling motor out, my anchor out, I was going to drop my trolling motor down to try to break some of that current and hold up a little bit better. That was a pretty sketchy moment when that anchor rope wrapped around that trolling motor.
Ooh.
We couldn't get the trolling motor up. It was jammed up.
Wow. Yeah, I wouldn't like that.
No, first thing in the morning, too. The sun wasn't even up. First spot.
That's even worse.
Yep. Just trying to get on the spot.
Well,
the Mississippi was already winning.
Glenn, give me another number here, buddy.
Let's go with 4 this time.
Number 4.
1, 2, 3, 4. And the winner is Sandy Wells out of Texas.
Texas.
Yep.
Yeah, last night Texas was cleaning up on the Wheeler Blues on Wheeler giveaway. Wow.
Had dinner with Sandy and Carl down there at Owensboro, Kentucky with James and Lisa. Had a great time. And you win a Catfish Weekly t-shirt. Sandy, if you will send me your shipping address, I will get that packaged up and get it out to you. I need to know the size, too.
I know the size.
Carl Wells, he says, that's my wife.
It is. Correct. I'm glad to see them win. Good folks. We had a really good time eating with them and Lisa and James. It was a really good dinner, and we was all tired from being out fishing. Everybody had a great time. It was just awesome. There's somebody else, I can't remember who the other guy was that ate with us. For some reason, I don't remember who the other person was. Sat right across the table from me. I can't remember.
What's that on your hat say there, Bob?
Old age creeping up.
This is a new Survivor high-speed water pickup hat that I received in the mail today. I thought I'd wear it tonight.
Oh, it looks real good.
Yeah, I like the red, white, and blue and stars stripes theme on nearly everything. And I got it in the mail today, so I just put it on tonight. And, you know, I know, Glenn, you keep a lot of fish in your live well when you're out with clients and stuff. Do you travel with those in there at all, or do you release them where you catch them?
No, we release them when we catch them.
Okay, I was going to say if you're traveling with them, you ought to get you one of them Survivor units. They're amazing if you travel with fish in a live well. It just keeps that water going in there all the time. It's really a great product.
Is it kind of like the Fish Life thing? Fish Life that what's his name uses at the Mississippi River Monsters tournament. They set the stages up. Jody,
No, it just feeds your live well pump to where it's always got water going up to it, and actually it will push water through the pump and constantly put water in your live well while you're moving. You know, when you're moving a lot, your live well pump can't pick up water out the boat. Yeah, this will keep water going to it all the time. Great product.
Yeah, it sounds like it'd be, especially if you've got a lot of fish or live bait in there.
Yeah, it's really and for tournament fishermen, it's almost a must-have.
Especially for the hot days.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And one of the things I like about it is a lot of times when we're catching fish, you know, when you catch them that they're stressed and they're just beat like I am. When I get one in the boat and you put them in that live well and let them regain their composure before you release them. And if you're changing one spot to another, no matter how far it is, you still got fresh water going in your live well all the time. Really great product.
Sounds like it.
Yep.
Sounds like a great product. Oh, well, it's about 8:15 here. I'm about to log off and kind of finish some stuff up here in the office.
Glenn, thank you so much for spending your Tuesday evening with us after Christmas. I know it's a busy time for everybody. We appreciate it very much that you would come on here and talk about wintertime catfishing with us. Are you going to the Catfish Conference?
At the moment, I don't have any plans to, but we'll see what happens.
Okay. If you decide to, be sure to stop in and visit with us.
Oh, yeah. I'm stopping and, as usual, visit everyone.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
We love being surrounded by catfish stuff and catfish
Absolutely.
people.
It's a big time.
It's in the candy store.
Yeah, it is. Exactly
and
right.
Don't forget, tomorrow's my birthday.
Happy birthday, Glenn Flowers.
I'm pretty sure Facebook's going to remind you.
I'm pretty sure you're right. Thank you again, Glenn. We appreciate it very much. You and Sandy have a great evening. I hope you have a great first of the year. And 2018 will be fabulous for you, I know.
Yep, and I want to thank everybody who tuned in and watched us and enjoyed sharing some of our contests this week, and look for some stuff in the mail. So,
Absolutely.
All right, Lau, we'll talk to you later, Doc.
All right. Thanks, Glenn. Appreciate you coming on board.
Yep, we'll see you later.
All right. Bye-bye.
A world of knowledge right there. One of the greater flathead fishermen around, and he just about fishes for flatheads now. It's just he fishes for, he catches blues, but he is a flathead fisherman. That's what he does, and been really cool. I don't have any tournament results this week.
Nope. In fact, no, I don't have any either.
But I'll bet you, not this weekend coming up, but the following weekend, when Monday rolls around, we will have some results from Winter Blues on Wheeler.
Yeah, we'll be, our next show is on the 1st of January, isn't it?
It is.
Oh, yeah. I just now realized that.
Now, I hadn't even noticed, I haven't paid any attention to that. Do you think we should move that to Tuesday also?
Yeah, let's go ahead and move it to Tuesday.
Okay. So if you're watching, we're going to have next week's Catfish Weekly will be on Tuesday, the 2nd of January. So be sure to tell everybody. We'll make a post on Facebook. I have to confirm my next week's guest, but if it is, it's if he's not working, and I assume that he's off because we already talked about this, we'll be talking about winter safety. Big deal to talk about.
Big deal for me.
It's a big deal for everyone, and even Glen's having 50-degree days, but for him, that's winter. That's cold down there. Where us, it's in the teens and 20s here, and where you're at, and people still are fishing. And safety is a major concern for all of us. And what is it that you wear every time you go out, Doc?
I got my PFD on all the time.
That's right. He never takes it off. It's a great idea, especially in bad weather. And people need to think about that. But yeah, if we get it all lined up, and I'll have a post up probably tomorrow, and we'll be talking about safety issues, and I think it's something that everybody should watch. And you're going to love the guy putting it on. He's just a hoot.
A message just come in. Anyone mentioned December 29th as a deadline for Winter Blues pre-registration?
I did not mention that.
December 29th. That's what, Friday? Yeah, that's Friday.
Yep, so Friday night. And then the next time you can register, if I remember correctly,
is at the captain's meeting.
Is at the captain's meeting, and you sure do not want to have to do that. And I believe it's added money if you.
I think it's $25 late fee or something.
I think that's right. I think that's right, and that's not out of line for all the extra and rushing around and getting things lined up that you're doing when you're doing that. So, yeah. So, how about Doc's tip of the week, Doc?
Well, it's a little bit different. I came across this product over this past summer. This is an Atwood light, and I have used this all year long, and this little light is pretty impressive. Comes with a C-clamp, got rubber covering so you don't damage anything. You can adjust this thing all kinds of different ways. It goes, you know, it'll tilt back, it goes forward, all kinds of different configurations. What's nice about it is it's got, there's the white light, and then it's got ultraviolet. So if you're using the like slime line that really lights up good with the ultraviolet, you can use that. And then my favorite though is, because of my night vision, is the red light. And we put this right on the back of the boat rack and on the rod rack, and just shine it up, and it just lights all the rods all across the back. I've got 2 of these. The other thing that's really nice, if you have a breakdown anywhere, You know, you can just lay this on the ground. You can attach it to your fender. A lot of nice light, bright light. This whole unit is waterproof. It's got 4 screws in the back. It has 6 AA batteries in it. An awesome light. I think they retail at Walmart for about $50 for a pair, but I caught these on sale for half price. So keep your eyes out on these things. They're Atwood fishing lights. Great product. That's Doc's tip for the night.
That's a great tip and a great safety product for people needing them lights on their boats at night too. Dustin Fall, if you will contact Jody Harrison on Facebook, he will give you a number to call him, or he'll answer your questions if you just send him a message.
Let's see, Carl Wells. I've been using this light for a year now, and I have not changed the batteries on them yet.
That's the thing about LED lights. They use very, very, very little draw.
So yeah, and I mean, you know, and I run them, you know, all night. So
that's outstanding. Sounds like a great product.
Yeah, they are. I'm pretty impressed with it.
Really cool. Awesome. We had a great show tonight, Glen, Doc.
Yes, we did. Glen was a great guest, and just talking about the thing I really like to talk about, and that's flatheads.
You'd enjoy it. I knew you would. Well, I've been working with Glen most of the summer. You know, Glen's a very, very busy guy. He does a lot of guiding, and him and Sandy have a bunch of stuff going on, and they work really hard to go to the big shows and do a lot of events and things, and it's hard to get them people like that on. So please remember to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel and like our Facebook page and share some of that stuff if you wouldn't mind, if you like it when we have these type of guests on, these quality guests like we've had on Catfish Weekly for some time. It's kind of tough to get these guys and line everything up, and go to their Facebook pages and their websites and like and share. All of these guys spend their time to make sure that these shows go for us, and that you guys get some information that you might not gain any other way.
Yeah, these guys are killing me. Okay, Lyle. Let's spin the wheel one more time.
Let's do it.
Let's go to number 1.
One it is, and the winner is Brandon Harrison. Brandon Harrison, and we're going to spin the wheel. Brandon wins Catfish Conference tickets.
There you go.
Let
me see when the Catfish Conference is. Let me see if I got it. I'm pretty sure I do. Catfish Conference, 59 days, 11 hours, 36 minutes, and 21 seconds.
Nice. Just to let you know, Doc, I got a message today from our buddy Glen at RigRaps, and he wanted to remove the Merry Fishma stocking slice off of our RigRap prize wheel pie. So I did, and it has been replaced with the bright light. So if it happens to land on that, you'll get some bright lights.
And that's from RigRap, right?
Yep. The ones that snap onto the end of your fishing rod, you push them down, they change colors when you get a bite. Pretty cool little invention. I like it.
Yep.
I don't do much night fishing, but I like to play with it anyhow. I got one here I've been messing around with. It's a lot of fun. My grandkids was over for Christmas, and I ended up having to put it up. They was fighting over it. You know, it was on the end of a piece of a fishing rod, a broken piece of fishing rod, and I made the mistake of showing them how it worked. And they just couldn't quit, so we put it up, and that was the end of that. But it was a lot of fun for them at first, but everybody wants to hit it, and everybody wants to hold it, and the next thing you know, Grandpa ain't got time to mess with all that stuff. So,
yeah, guys, we appreciate you. 80 thumbs up tonight. Awesome. Thanks for visiting us here on Catfish Weekly.
Absolutely. You guys mean so much to us, and you're the reason why Doc and I spend our Mondays and Tuesday nights doing Catfish Weekly. And besides that, we just like to talk about catfishing.
Yeah, we just like to jib jab all the time.
Well, I guess it's better to do it on the show than
That's
me calling each other and doing it for hours on end.
Yep, that's right. All right. Hey, looking forward to seeing you guys down at Winter Blues on Wheeler in 10 days. So I think we're leaving. I'm leaving here on the Wednesday, I believe, the 3rd. So going to try to get my bait and then head toward Alabama.
Just to let you know, my buddy Jason Burgess was going to fish Winter Blues with us. And I think I mentioned this before. One of his co-workers is a military guy, and he's in the reserves, and he got called up, and he's going to be leaving right after the first of the year. So Jason had to stay there to cover his job. It's very understandable. I commend the young man for serving our country and doing what's right. And Cindy and I was just going to come down and fish it by ourselves. And I got a call from an old buddy of mine the other day, and I told him, I said, well, John, you need to go to Winter Blues with us. And
Nordyke.
John Nordyke will be fishing Winter Blues with us, and we're probably going to be in his boat. He just got a brand new enclosure and all the stuff on it.
Oh, man.
Well, I have one for our boat, but he's got a brand new one. He wants to. He's got new depth finders and stuff, and he wants to try some stuff out. And we're going to have a blast down there, whether the fish bite or not, whether it rains or not, ain't going to matter. We're going to have a good time.
Yeah, good deal. Yeah, I've been looking forward to seeing John. I think last time I saw John was when Josh kicked me in the face.
That was some time back.
Yeah. And now I don't want him to kick me in the face because he's 6'5", and
he's huge.
Back then he was only what, about 2.5 feet tall.
Yeah, 3.
He wasn't very big.
Nope, he sure wasn't. That was many moons ago. Good times we had at Cumberland City. We need to do that again sometime.
Yep. All right.
All right, everybody. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for joining us, everybody.
Next Tuesday night, safety. Be looking for Jason Mathena. See you then.